Steve, it's 1:03 and we have 23 people, and today we are actually recording. I didn't trust the automatic recording as I did last week, which obviously didn't work, and I apologize for that. But the good news was I caught it in all of Sandy Giles' glory just in time, and we did get the full presentation from that excellent program last week. Is recorded on our YouTube video. If any of you missed it last week, please go out and check it out and give it a review. So Steve, I will mute everyone and turn it over to you. It's all yours.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. We got one more program in January, then we start with February. Good to see everybody on board today. All right, Mike, we'll just turn it over to you for the invocation and then the pledge and so forth.
Thank you all. Bow your heads with me, if you will. Dear gracious Father, thank you for so many blessings you have richly blessed us with. Thank you for America. Thank you for Rotary. Thank you for our community. And thank you for our friends. Continue to be with us and help us as American Rotarians to exemplify the four-way test as we live our lives. Help us to take seriously our responsibility to love each other in harmony. Also help us to be able to prove our worth by the example of harmony and care for others. Bless us through this meeting, and thanks for allowing us to gather. Be with President Steve as his work includes leading this group. Be with the names that have been mentioned, and we pray that you would help them to go through the week feeling better. And we'll ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Join me in the pledge, if you will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Mike. Let's see if we have any happy dollars today. Rich, I don't see any other hands, so announcements. Bill Allsbrook has a good announcement for us. You'll have to unmute yourself, Bill.
I heard from Patsy Davis today, not today, on Monday, and they had received 76 blankets from our blanket drive. And this has been going on since 2008, according to Cecil, and I didn't know the exact time that it started. But this is, I think, particularly in the situation that we find ourselves with this COVID, that it was really an outstanding, it worked out very well. So they have 76 blankets. And if someone else ever mentions it to you, I'm sure they would welcome blankets and either through Amazon or just dropping them by there at Mountain Projects. But thank you to everyone who contributed. I think it was really a worthwhile thing.
And thank you, Bill, for dogging it and for getting it all worked out with Patsy to where we could do it with the two different avenues that we had. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
See, Mark Bumgarner, you have an announcement about Open Door?
Yes, we're up for Open Door on the 28th, and I've got 2 people. I did not get the email sent out this week, so I'll have that sent out Monday, and be looking for 2 more volunteers for this coming Thursday. Thank you.
Very good. Rick Croskery, you have an announcement? Oh, you were volunteering.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Let's see, Jeff Norris has an announcement about a potential event.
Good afternoon. We were contacted by Jim Dodd-Mead. He is a biker. He is the Southeast Director of the International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians, North America. They are planning or hope to plan an event in or through Maggie in late August. They anticipate about 10 to 20 riders, plan on planting a tree or some trees, that kind of thing. That's about all that he told me. The date is approximately 26th through the 30th of August. The way we do things now, if someone is interested in coordinating and working with Jim and that group, I'll be glad to facilitate that. But send me an email or give me a call and I'll give you his contact information and we can go from there. So again, it's a motorcycle memorial ride through Maggie Valley in late August.
Thank you, Jeff. And if you want to become the champion for that event, get hold of Jeff. He will be president at that time. Unless
you stay on, Steve.
I don't think there's a big groundswell for that. Gordon mentioned vaccinations, and I'm glad he did. We would like to, for everyone who gets a vaccination, especially the second vaccination, can we set up something on DAC-DB, Cecil, or what's the best way? Anyway, we'd like to know when that happens so that we can tell when our herd immunity kind of set up. It may help us decide when we can go back to having face-to-face meetings. Cecil, do you have any ideas on how we can do that?
I think the simplest thing would be just to notify me through email, and I'll keep a separate list. I don't think that's anything we want online.
Okay. Good deal. So when you get your second vaccination, drop Cecil a note on email, and we will find out when we can get most everybody vaccinated. Any other announcements? Steve Brown.
I was just going to follow up. I have had my first vaccine last Wednesday, and hopefully on February 10th, I'll have the second one. And all of the individuals and the staff that work at our organization, the ARC, have all had theirs, except the 4 that opted out because of health reasons. But the reason I came on today is, as you all know, I have been involved probably almost within 30 years of how long Mary Ann Way's been involved with Pancake Day. And as you all know, I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that we are going to host Pancake Day this year, and it's going to be done in a little bit different format. We're going to have to do it in a virtual world, and we're going to pre-prepare bags with pancake mix and syrup and a couple of goodies and a listing of all of the sponsors who've made this happen. And for the last at least 10 years, the Rotary Club has sponsored Pancake Day, but due to the way we're doing fundraising now, I'm being the champion for that. And I just wanted to, if Cecil let me do it, I'll share a couple of pictures with you real quick.
You got it.
And show you something I found. I've been working, Mary Ann has provided me. We're gonna, and that's something I need to ask all the members. A lot of you all have been involved with Pancake Day as long as I have. And if you have any pictures from past years, if you would send those to Kara at the church, or you can send them to me. We're trying to build a huge portfolio, and we're going to have a huge presentation that'll be out on Facebook and through the church website to show all of those pictures. But I've got a really cool, couple of cool pictures that I want to show y'all. Let me get my screen up here real quick. There we go. Okay, you recognize the guy on the left in that picture? Oops, my screen's popping in and out.
Yes, it's solid right now.
Okay, well, if you recognize, please move. The funny thing about it is that if you notice the gentleman on the left, that's Mr. Our Reverend Thompson, and that's Dr. Stringfield and Henry Foy in that picture. That was done back in 1986 or 87. It's hard to believe, George, you were ever that young. You look great in that picture.
Somebody
And I've
died
got
his
one more I'll share with you too. This one was done in 1986 too. And that's Charlie Way on the right, obviously, and Miss Emily Bradley on the left. And that is when I actually had hair, believe it or not, I did, even though it's all gone by the wayside. But anyway, what I wanted to ask is since the club cannot sponsor, and I know there's already been a couple contributions made, but my goal is to try to raise the $500 through the membership, because as you know, for the last 2 or 3 years, it's been free. And we're going to make that again that way again this year. And we're going to ask people that pick up packages, if they so feel driven, to make a contribution. But I'm going to do something that I normally don't do. If many of y'all know me, I'm probably one of the tightest guys that ever walked the face of the earth. But I will commit to matching dollar for dollar every dollar that the club gives towards that $500. If the club gives $500, I'll match it for $500. So we have had one contribution. Cecil helped me with one of 100, and I think another of 20.
Yes.
And if you all would contribute, what I'm going to do, Cecil will help me. I'm going to send an email out after this meeting to all of the club members asking for their contributions. And then you'll respond back to that email. And if you're willing to contribute, I'm asking for everybody to do a minimum of $10 if they would consider that. And I think we could easily make $500 without much trouble. And that will go, and the Waynesville Rotary Club will be listed as a sponsor. That'll be put on a placemat, a mini placemat like we've done in the past. It'll go into, we're going to produce 1,000 bags, and our hope is to feed 4,000 people during that day. You're going to come by the church parking lot on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of Pancake Day, and you'll pick up your pancakes, and hopefully everyone will go home, prepare pancakes, and join us on a Zoom meeting. We're hoping to have hundreds of people in the Zoom meeting, and we may have to have little compartments and let people try to share and break bread with other people in the community. So after the meeting today, if Cecil's okay, I've sent him an email and I'll send it out to all of y'all, and please respond to that email. And I appreciate it very much. It's going to be fun. We're currently running about $11,000 in sponsorships this year, and we could really use the club sponsorship too, because that pays for all of the cost of the bags this year, because we have a little bit more expense than we've had in the past. But I do appreciate the club's support over the years. And I know Mary Ann's been involved with it since day one. And I know I've been since 80. I think Charlie Way asked me in 1982, I think was the first year, or 83, when I went into the hardware store, that he asked me to work at that. And I got married in 77. So I guess I probably got as many years as in the Pancake Day as most anybody but Mary Ann, but I do appreciate it. And Cecil, if I made any mistakes, correct me.
I didn't hear any mistakes.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Steve. Any other announcements? In that case, we will turn the introductions over to Sandy Giles, our program chairman this month.
Good afternoon, everybody. Our speaker today is Heather Boyd, the Executive Director of the Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership, which is part of Mountain Projects. Heather is a native of Transylvania County. She still lives there, but plans to move here this summer with her children. She has an associate's degree in business from Blue Ridge Community College, an associate degree in art from AB Tech, and she's working on a bachelor's in communication through East Carolina University's online program. She worked for the past 4 years. She was directly involved with affordable housing as a housing counselor. Before that, she worked an additional 8 years plus in various roles of customer service and lending. I am on the board of the partnership, and I can tell you that the board is very thrilled to have her as our new executive director. One of the reasons I wanted to have this program, I remember years ago we had a program talking about the housing program at Mountain Projects. And I was wondering, what does that have to do with Habitat? Are they in competition, or are they separate programs? And the truth is, both programs are working for affordable housing, just with different demographics, different people. There's no conflict, in other words, or competition between the two. They support each other, and hopefully we'll hear more about that as she goes ahead. So Heather, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, I'm Heather Boyd. I'm the Executive Director for Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership. We're the Affordable Housing Division of Mountain Projects. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. You guys seem like a really fun group, and Mary Ann's smile just lights up the whole Zoom meeting, so that's awesome. So I'm really excited to share a little bit about what we are doing. We've got a lot of objectives that we want to attain in the next 3 years. We've got a really great active board. Patsy Davis is amazing. And a lot of the community partners have really just kind of rallied together to help us. Jamie with Habitat is phenomenal. We had a very long chat not too long ago, and we're planning to meet again soon. And you know, with both agencies and other agencies that are helping affordable housing in Haywood County, we still are not meeting the needs. So of course there's no kind of competition. Our goal is to work together to make sure that we're helping the families the best of our abilities. With the requirements of the programs, there might be times that I'm referring some of my clients to her. She might have clients that might be a good fit for our program. So it'll be really great to be able to work collaborative on that, just to make sure that folks do have all those resources that they need. So I'm going to screen share, and I've got a PowerPoint that I'll send to you after the meeting. I've had some issues with my email trying to send it to you this morning. All right, can everybody see the PowerPoint? Okay, so again, we're Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership. We are the Affordable Housing Division of Mountain Projects. So it's not a separate organization. We roll under the same EIN number. And the reason we're not just a partner or a department of Mountain Projects is because the need is so great, and the objectives that we're trying to achieve, they've been underutilized in the past with Mountain Projects. So we're just wanting to make sure that we're generating that community awareness. And just a little background for anyone that's not familiar with Mountain Projects. Mountain Projects is a nonprofit that was founded in 1965 as a community action agency, and it came into place to be a part of the war on poverty. So they started with a $52,000 economic opportunities grant for a Head Start program, and since then they've developed so many programs and services that they are now at an $11 million budget with a staff of 140 employees. The majority of us are full-time. There are some part-time staffs, and there's some staff that kind of work between different programs. Mountain Projects currently offers a lot of senior services and other services that would consist of food service, transportation. We have the Haywood County Transit, Mountain Strong Prevention, Central Services as their essential intake, and could do referrals to other agencies. They help with the marketplace and health insurance. And then we have WIOA, which is an educational program for families that are looking to go back to school. There's some financial support for that and other services to make sure that they're able to get to and from and have the resources that they need for that. Once I send the PowerPoint, you guys can share it. They're all links that can take you directly to the website, and you can learn more about those programs and services. So about Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership. So we were formed in 2019, and we have an executive committee that really has came together and just been amazing with Patsy Davis. Just a little bit of background. I was working with the Housing Assistance Corporation in Hendersonville, and we were working as a consultant for the self-help program with Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership. That's how I was introduced to everyone there. And then we just determined over time it was a really good fit for me to continue with that program. So we are really focusing and really engaged right now on affordable, essential workforce housing. It's the mission of Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership to improve the quality of life for families living in the communities of the Great Smoky Mountains by advocating for and creating workforce housing opportunities. We strive to assist residents in the area through programs that include financial literacy, down payment help, rental assistance, credit counseling, and home purchasing. So many of the services that we offer through the affordable home ownership are micro home communities. We have we consult and assist, and that's with our home ownership center. We have Section 8 housing, which is the housing choice voucher that assists families with rent. That voucher can also convert towards home ownership. So that's something that we're really excited to have. The self-help housing is probably our main focus right now. That we have 5 lots in Jackson County. We have a grant through USDA that takes care of the technical assistance, and that'll eventually have homes for 11 and over a 2-year period. So with that, the homeowners are going to be working collectively as a group, similar to what Habitat offers with the sweat equity component. They're out there getting those life skills. They're helping with the build of their homes. They're getting educated on the maintenance and other preventative services that are going to make them successful long term. They're not just, getting a house and unsure the next steps of what they need to do. We want to make sure that everybody's set up for success in the future, not just currently. So I'm really excited to work with Jamie because, that Habitats have a very good working model. They're well known across the nation, and they are just amazing at what they do with the homeowners and helping the community. Workforce housing is definitely something that all counties are currently working on. Haywood County has a great need for that. We do have a program currently through Housing Rehab, and that does heating, air replacement, and that is for clients that may not currently have heat or they just need something repaired on it. We make safety modifications to make sure people can stay in their homes. We have essential single family rehabilitation. And that is a larger grant that brings a house up to the building code. Urgent repair is another grant that can help families that need more urgent immediate repairs, such as a roof replacement, or if there's not ample money or time to use the heating and air replacement, you could use the urgent repair program to replace a heater or do some weatherization as well. That grant's about $10,000 per home. For many people, that there's a strong need for housing, especially being affordable in the areas of Haywood and Jackson counties. And what does affordability mean? And it varies from person to person. And the standard definition is a family that's not cost burdening when they have more than 30% of their income going out towards their mortgage, their utilities, and things like that. In Haywood County alone, you'll see that 29% of families are cost burdened. In Jackson County, you have 30% of families that are cost burdened. The average family would need to work 127 hours per week to be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment, making the minimum wage currently. There's a lot of obstacles that we're facing that we're working to address. You've got the aging population. We have a lot of folks that are on a fixed income. The rents keep going up. A lot of times you'll see that a monthly rent is higher than a Social Security check, which of course makes it to where it's not obtainable. And we've got these families that have been in these communities. They bring the heritage. They have, so much wisdom and knowledge to share with other generations, but they're not able to afford to stay here. So they're uprooted, they're taken from their families, they're, put into new places, and that's not ideal. No one wants that. We have a lot of poverty and low income renters, which has always been a challenge. There's a lack of easy land to develop and the high cost of construction. Material costs alone with COVID have probably tripled in price. A lot of the land, it's not ideal. It's very expensive. There's going to be a lot of infrastructure taking place, needing water and sewer, having the excavation done. There's just so many things that come into the cost. And then, you've always got to factor in how can we make a house affordable when we're having to invest so many other resources and cost into getting the land ready to build something. There's a lack of high-paying jobs. Of course, tourism is very big here. And so it makes it hard to have a well-paying job and a career. One of the programs with the WIOA is to help families to get a certificate or a degree so that they can obtain a higher level job. A lot of times you'll see that vacation rentals are owned. We're a direct feeder from Florida and New York, so it's very easy for folks to come in with cash and buy up a lot of the housing stock to be able to rent it out. And that kind of takes away from what could be more affordable because Airbnbs are very popular. if you're wanting to take a trip, it works well for you, but for folks in the community, it really does create a hardship because there's nothing available that they can either have the option to rent or that they can afford. So I myself started with Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership in November of 2020. I'm responsible for the day-to-day operations, looking for land, making sure that we can come up with funds to cover the infrastructure, recruiting families, doing the housing counseling. I assist with the packaging of the USDA direct loans, down payment assistance, and any kind of in-office aspects of the job. Just a little bit about me outside of work. I'm very passionate about what I do. I worked for housing assistance for several years. Prior to that, I worked in banking and I loved it. I had no intentions of ever leaving. However, when I was growing up, I had a daughter when I was 18 years old. At that time, I've got a little person that I've got to keep alive, and that's my thought. I can't think of what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do next year? What am I going to be when I grow up? I never knew. Well, I was a recipient of the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher through WCCA in Transylvania County. And while I was there, I met a lady named Marianne Festa, who to this day will never get rid of me. She worked with me. She was my mentor. She became my best friend. She is like a second mother to me. She is more than I can ever explain to you a person can be to me in my life. She taught me skills about budgeting. She taught me life skills that I was able to pass on to my children. And she worked with me in a self-sufficiency program so that I could purchase a house. It took me about 3 years to get to where I was ready to buy a house. And I bought my house in 2009. To this day, we still go have lunch. We do all kinds of things together. We've actually worked with a lot of mutual clients together, which is very, very exciting. But I don't know how to explain what an impact she had in my life. I think every person I meet will probably learn about her and how she's impacted my life. And I just kind of hope that, if I can impact somebody else's life, just a fraction of how she did mine, I will have reached my goals in life. I will be so happy. So it was really an honor when I was able to go to work for a nonprofit, affordable housing, and kind of work a little bit in the field that made me who I am today. I now have 4 daughters. I've got 2 other children that I take care of. And, if I wasn't able to purchase a house and have the space for them, I don't know where we'd be right now. So I'm forever grateful for her. She taught me dedication and hard work. So I'm just really thankful for programs like this. So I'm very invested in it. I don't know if everyone knows Joey Massey, but he is a local to Waynesville, and he's amazing. He is actually out right now. He just had a shoulder replacement. So we're hoping to kind of have him back in the office soon enough. But he's got 35 years experience in construction. He actually worked for the Haywood County Habitat in the past for about 5 years. So he's familiar with working hands-on with the clients and making sure that they're ready to help with the construction of their homes. So we're super happy to have him on the team. So I think we work really well together. One of the big aspects that we're wanting to bring to Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership, and that we're currently in the process of offering these services, but we want to really be able to grow the spectrum that we can offer them on. So the only homeownership center currently in the area is On Track, which is located in Asheville, and they are amazing. I've done several presentations with them. Their staff is wonderful, and they do somewhat come to Haywood County, but they don't have a large presence in Haywood. They just don't have the capacity to do so. They serve so many counties. So we're going to kind of collaborate with them to make sure we're not duplicating services, but that we can extend everything across the state so that everybody has access to these resources and everybody can have the same opportunities. In the homeownership center, we'll be providing education and counseling. It'll be extensive to pre-purchase counseling, but that does not mean it's only for families that are looking to buy a house. Buying a house is not a best fit for everyone. It's not my decision if you buy a house or not. What I can do is I can educate a client on the pros and cons of home ownership, and we can help them understand what their life is like right now, what their goals are looking like in the future, and that way they can make an educated decision on what works best for their family. With this, we'll go through financial capabilities. We'll kind of really get into budgeting, why it's important, ways of cutting money. We don't want to tell somebody, don't go buy cigarettes if you smoke. What we want to do is we want to give them resources to maybe cut back or save some money or look at other ways to cut back expenses so that they can get where they want to be long term, because it's not just about today and what's in your pocket currently. Pre-purchase counseling is a big aspect of what we do. We want to make sure somebody's financially ready. We want to make sure that once they're in this house, they're able to make the mortgage payment without working 5 jobs. We don't want the dream of home ownership to become a nightmare. Post-purchase counseling is also instrumental in this because we want people to be set up for success. You'll see a lot of homeowners that have never maintained a yard. They don't know that they need to do maintenance on their HVAC system. That is a very easy $10,000 cost to a home if it's not maintained correctly. So we want to make sure that everybody's educated so that they are set up for success and they're able to stay in these homes. We do foreclosure intervention and default counseling. So when you're looking at the homeownership opportunities that we currently offer, we have self-help. Again, that's the program where the participants are working together, completing 65% of the sweat equity to help with that construction and make it even more affordable. We receive a technical assistance grant from USDA, so none of our staff time, our office supplies, time working with these clients is passed along to them. What they're paying for with their loans is materials, subcontractors, land, that sort of thing. Workforce housing, we're working on increasing our production in Haywood and Jackson County. So this is definitely the same quality of homes. You're getting a brand new home, energy efficient. And we currently have 41 lots in Bethel Village. Those will not be going through USDA. However, financing will be offered through Prime Mortgage Lending, Champion Credit Union, and there's a few others. We're definitely looking into some CRA credit with banks and seeing how we can collaborate with them so that we can help them meet their goals along with helping our clients meet their goals. Micro homes has become very, very important because there's so many things that you can utilize with that. So Western Carolina University has been a big impact on how we go about looking at micro home communities. This could consist of a community garden, gathering areas, and a lot of landscaping opportunities. When you're looking at a micro home, you're looking between 600 and 1,000 square feet. And you think about our clients that are coming from, a single wide mobile home or an apartment. A micro home is standardly, it's going to be larger than what they're in right now. So it's not like someone's, just moving into a little house because that's all they can afford. There's the benefits that someone would look at when they're looking at a micro home, and they're not for everybody, but we want to make sure that we have opportunities. Folks live more minimally. They don't have as much storage space to buy more things and keep it. There's less upkeep. Their power bills are generally less because it's a smaller space. There's so many really great things that come with it. We definitely want to make sure that we have that option. And again, it's a little bit cheaper to build a smaller house. With direct purchase, we can serve all 100 counties in North Carolina. This is where the loans come through USDA Direct. And this is a really, really great loan product for a first-time homeowner. This is something that Habitats across the state, some have started using. It's a good fit for some. It's not always a good fit for all of the affiliates. But what this can do is it offers it's a loan that does offer interest on it, whereas like a Habitat can have the wonderful capability of offering 0%, which really, really helps out the buyers. But for those that don't have access to that product, USDA does 100% financing, no private mortgage insurance. Most of the closing costs can be factored into the loan. The current interest rate is 2.5. It can be reduced as low as 1% to create a subsidy. And the terms go from 33 to 38 years. We also are looking at new construction rehab program, which is where we'll be able to find homes that are going through foreclosure and different things and be able to rehab them so that we can have an affordable cost for our clients. We offer down payment assistance. We are a third party for down payment assistance. So currently we do not have funds directly through Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership or Mountain Projects. However, we work with 2 great organizations that do. North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, we work with 36 counties. This is a deferred payment, non-forgivable mortgage at 0% interest. This could increase somebody's purchase power to be able to afford a house in the area or it could reduce the principal balance to make the payments even more affordable. Mountain Housing Opportunities, which many of you may be familiar with in Asheville, wonderful, wonderful organization. They offer down payment assistance in Buncombe, Haywood, Henderson, and Madison. This is a deferred payment, non-forgivable with an equity appreciation. So this one can increase your purchase power. You can't use it to reduce your principal balance, but it is a great way to be able to make something affordable. For instance, if somebody's buying a $200,000 house in Haywood County, when we are able to utilize both of these down payment assistance sources, their first mortgage would be around $160,000. That is where it could really make a difference on whether or not somebody is able to achieve home ownership. So again, we're Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership. You'll have our website, our Facebook, once I send this PowerPoint to you. And we are so excited to really be working with the programs and just overall so thrilled to be here and be active. And I'm really glad to have the opportunity to come talk with everybody today. So does anybody have any questions on kind of what our programs or services are, or maybe what Mountain Projects does?
Ed Fontaine is trying to get in. Ed?
Hey, Ed.
Yes, Heather. I was following along with the briefing, and you were talking about the cost of rental housing in our county. Did I misread the chart? I think you said it was 127 hours per week was necessary at minimum wage to afford a 2-bedroom apartment.
That is correct. To keep it at 30% of their income. So with the standard rates right now, it's just, and that could be that it's a 2-person household. But and a lot of times what you're going to see with this is a lot of the families either don't have housing at all. They're couch surfing. They're receiving a housing choice voucher. So it's very important to be able to create these opportunities to give folks a fair chance so that they can kind of grow in their families and in their career fields and education.
So it's not the fact that the apartment was $1,000 a month. It was 30% of what they would earn working 127 hours at minimum wage. Is that correct?
It is, but it's a little bit of both. So the rents are, a standard rent here is fairly high. So there's not a lot of options to where you can get a rent cheaper than $1,000. So when you're comparing that next to a lot of the minimum wage, they go hand in hand. So the rents are higher, they make less money. So they're kind of, the two kind of feed off each other.
Okay, but I may contact you again to make sure that I can clarify this in my mind. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
Steve, I believe you were next. Steve McNeil.
No, I just turned my voice thing on so I could recognize people. Any other questions for Heather?
Jack Ewing.
Heather, you probably said this and I missed it, but tell me what qualifications your homeowners must meet in order to be eligible.
Okay, so that can vary based on program. So typically what we're looking for just in general for program participation is that they are 80% or less of area median income. And that varies when you're looking at the HUD standard. Like if you were looking at a USDA family, they consider what they look at as an income banded state. So a family of 4 can in return make the same as a family of 1. So that makes it a little bit different, but most programs are looking at the standard HUD definition of the 80% or less of AMI. And that could be too where it comes into play where somebody might be considered over income for habitat based on their model, even if they're below 80%, where USDA is looking at that income banding. So it might be a family of 2 that really, by HUD's definition, is over income. But with USDA, that might give them an additional opportunity. So does that make sense?
And then one more question. You talked about Mountain Projects overall budget being 11 million. What is the budget for your specific program within Mountain Projects?
So we're currently working on a more realistic budget because in the past, the programs have really been underutilized. We're really just broke ground on 2 homes in Bethel Village. We're working on having the engineering reports and things done for our self-help property. Prior to me starting, we had fundraised over $215,000. With USDA grant, our HUD grants, it's going to be significantly larger going forward. So, and a lot of the programs that are going to be rolling under Smoky Mountain, like the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher, things like that, will eventually roll under Smoky Mountain Housing Partnership as we have capacity. So a portion of Mountain Project's budget will in return roll over. So once we have a better idea of the programs and outline of what's going to be going on later this year, I think we've had so many opportunities that came into place. We're going to kind of relook at our strategic plan because we've got some really good things in the works that we'll be able to share with folks later on.
Very good. Any more questions?
Heather, you talk about workforce housing. What would one of those families look like? What kind of work might they do? I mean, just is there such a thing as a typical family?
It can vary. It might be a school teacher. It might be an EMS worker. When I was working at Housing Assistance, the last group of family that I worked with, one was a detention officer. One was the supervisor of child preventative services with DSS in Transylvania County. One was a case manager that worked for the child support agency through DSS. She actually took my position at Housing Assistance when I left. She's a really great girl. And then we had a manager of McDonald's. So it can vary. There's just such a broad aspect of affordable housing. And I think there's just a stigma behind it. When you say workforce housing or affordable housing, people are thinking of, maybe just someone that works at a local grocery store or a local fast food. But really, it's the key individuals of our community. You're going to see veterans. You're going to see teachers. You're going to have your medical staff. When I had my daughter 2 years ago, I had major complications. They didn't know if I'd make it. I got 11 liters of blood on the operating table. A fun fact, your body only holds 6.5 to begin with. If we didn't have those key individuals working at Mission, my children wouldn't have a mother right now. So, it's very important to me on a personal level that we keep these folks here. I have children in school, and right now we're doing virtual, and I'm learning firsthand. I'm not smarter than a 5th grader. I really, really appreciate these teachers in our community because it really does take a village to raise a child. And if our teachers are uprooting and having to go to South Carolina and other states because 1, North Carolina is one of the lowest paid teaching states, and for 2, the rents keep rising, we are not going to have anything here for our future. We need to definitely look at being an intergenerational community. We need to have, the wisdom and the culture from the folks that have been around passed down to the younger folks. And it's so important to keep them here. We want to make sure that we're protected. We need all these service members here. So.
Thank you.
George?
How, if at all, will the renovation of the old hospital building affect your program?
So that is, of course, that's not one of the programs, but we offer. However, the need is so grand in the county. We are here to help them with whatever we can offer. And even it might be that we collaborate to where they have the tenants or the owners there to where they can come to the home ownership center. We can help them budget. We can help them prepare for success. But overall, it's all about us all working collaboratively together because it's like a village raising a child. It's very important for us to work with each. It's very important for us to work with Habitat, vice versa, because if we don't all come together, then we're not going to be able to address the problem like it needs to be addressed. And I think Haywood County is amazing at that. I mean, I've seen in other counties where agencies do kind of feel like it might be a competition where it's not. It's all about serving the community, and Haywood County has been so amazing. I mean, there's outreach from all kinds of other organizations, whether they're dealing with housing or other services that might be able to help a client to get where they need to be to find that affordable housing. And it's going to have to be partnership after partnership. And it just takes us all. So I think the project that's going on, it's a little bit different than some of the things that I've worked with in the past, and I really would need to learn more about it. But overall, we would want to see how we can help support the community with that.
Are there any final questions for Heather as we approach the 2 o'clock hour? Seeing none, Steve, it's back to you.
Thank you, Cecil, and thank you, Heather, for enlightening us on this program.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad that Sandy's involved in something nowadays since he's retired. So we want to keep him off the streets. If there's nothing else for the good of Rotary today, we will see you next week. Thank you again, Heather.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Heather.
Thanks. Bye.